Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another coffee rant with Dano and Frank, our Patriot Bald Eagle. Not feeling too patriotic today with our government still being shut down. It was a day 38. If it continues through the night here on Saturday, which I'm sure it will on Sunday morning when you will be seeing this, it will be 39 days, I believe. 39 days. That's absurd, guys. That's absolutely absurd. Tonight we're going to be talking about this. We got some other things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some different food sales that we've been seeing, some ways that some people can maybe combat some of the prices, some things that we've seen in the stores. But I'll tell you what, guys, this is just, it's gotten out of hand. We got jobs, people that aren't getting paid for their jobs, different government jobs that they're just, I don't know. Will they get their back pay? We really don't know. It's a very sad situation for America right now, and it's sickening, in my opinion. It's absolutely sickening that our government cannot come together on terms of whatever it needs to come together for them to reopen. I mean, it's something that you hear out of like a book of Idiocracy. Have you ever seen the movie Idiocracy? Where the world years later has turned into just a bunch of silly things that just cannot come together, or it just seems like everything has gotten so silly that even the smallest thing can be a catastrophe. And it, I've gotten to the point anymore where it's like it's given me such a headache reading some of these different articles and stuff to where it's just plain silly. But let's talk about the good things. Okay, so a lot of different governments have come together, and I understand a lot of different state governments have come together, and even some of our viewers have gotten some of their benefits through SNAP, and some have actually gotten their full benefits. Not all. Good for everyone that has gotten theirs or have gotten some assistance. I know there's been a lot of our viewers and beyond who have been donating to different food pantries, which is really awesome. Me and Jessica are also going to be doing Toys for Tots here soon. We're going to make sure that we can donate for some kids for Christmas, but we're also going to be donating some different mostly cash to some of these organizations like the food bank and stuff like this. We want to make sure that the money's going for the best use possible. And as far as what food banks say, free store food banks and food pantries and stuff, cash is the way to go. The one here in Cincinnati, they claim that $1 can create 3 meals for people. So, I mean, do the math on that. I mean, that's pretty awesome. That's really awesome that they're able to work that out. So we want to make sure that we're donating to the right people and make sure that you're getting the most out of what you spend to donate. The most as in, being able to feed people, right? Because this is a trying time, a trying situation. And not saying that we shouldn't always donate to the food pantries, but now seems to be more important than ever. So just wanted to put that message out here right away so that, if anybody was thinking about where's the best place to donate, especially because food is something that everybody needs. I know I mentioned Toys for Tots, but it is something that me and Jessica is doing because we want to make sure that the kids get a good Christmas, and we want to contribute to that as well. And we're going to be looking into some places that are doing different Toys for Tots here in the future. If you have any recommendations for that, please let us know down in the comments. So, my take on this is we're just going to continue doing what we're doing. Okay, we're going to continue, going over different deals, different sales. Been finding a lot of good deals on canned goods lately, different holiday items, different baking items. If you have the ability to cook, now is the time to start buying some of these baking items and stuff as they are getting a little cheaper. Not much cheaper. Okay, we're finding sales. Some of the sales that we find, though, today is what the regular prices were, a couple years ago. But it's still cheaper, and we need to mention some of these things. Different sugar, flour. We have found flour for $2.19. 5-pound bags of flour for $2.19 at Aldi. It's still $2.38, I believe, at Walmart for the Great Value brand. Meijer is $2.19. Theirs came down. Theirs was $2.39. Went down to $2.19. So now Meijer is competing with Aldi in some prices. Also, canned corn and canned green beans at Meijer are 49 cents. Okay, I don't know what the deal is with peas. We've been getting comments, why aren't the peas on sale? Why aren't the peas on sale? I don't know. I really have no idea. But there has to be something with that because Walmart, Aldi, and Meijer, none of those places have their peas on that 50-cent price deals. We saw with Great Value, they've got their corn and green beans on sale on a rollback offer for 50 cents. We saw where Aldi has kind of the same deal on their Happy Harvest canned corn and canned green beans for 50 cents a can, but the peas are still 76 cents a can. And we're finding all kinds of deals on different powdered sugars and stuff like that, if you're going to make cookies, different holiday items, but we're also finding deals on prepared meals as well. I have seen more sales on different frozen meals, microwave meals, whatever you call them. A lot of good deals on Stouffer's and Lean Cuisine. We're finding a lot of 4 for $10 or more ways that you can get, a quick meal for a pretty cheap price. We continue to point these out as we go along, and sales kind of vary. I know Kroger has a new sale coming up come Wednesday, which we will be checking out some of the new deals. But there's a lot of ways to save, guys. I'll tell you what, I was thinking the other day, I was like, everybody thinks turkey, at least when I think of turkey, I think of Thanksgiving. I'm one that kind of holds out for turkey. I usually eat turkey twice a year, like whole turkeys, like Thanksgiving and Christmas. This is when we usually, I don't want to eat too much turkey because then it's not as exciting, as when we eat it for the holiday. But I started thinking, it's like turkeys right now are cheaper now. They have started the sales on turkeys pretty much everywhere. We saw at Walmart, Great Value turkeys, 97 cents for a pound. For Butterball, same at Meijer, 97 cents a pound for Butterball. And then we saw Honeysuckle at Meijer for a little cheaper. It was 88 cents a pound. And I feel like Honeysuckle and Butterball are pretty comparable as far as quality goes. I prefer Butterball if I can get a deal on it, but usually I just get whatever the deal is. If Kroger is the best deal, then that's what we get. The Kroger turkeys have been 99 cents a pound for the last few weeks. Those might get a little cheaper as we go toward the holidays. But the main thing that I was thinking of here, and I know a lot of our viewers who can their own foods and stuff, we see all these prices on canned turkey that people have already canned for you, which that's all well and good. But if you can get a turkey for 98 cents a pound, right, then you can can a lot of turkey, right? This would be a really good meal for you for dirt cheap. Because if you're spreading it out into several different meals, it's kind of what I did when I used to have this thing that I do, and I still do. There's a lot of stuff in this that I'm about to talk about that Jessica doesn't like, though, like some of the peppers I put in it. But I used to have a everything vegetable soup. And I called it everything because it's literally everything. It's corn, it's green beans, it's peas, salsa, and I let this slow cook for 12 hours, but it's got carrots, whole carrots, everything I do fresh, mostly organic when it comes to this, because I want to make sure it's good and clean and good and fresh, and it's got all the nutrients in it for you. I usually use a red and orange bell pepper. I actually put ground beef in it as well to give it kind of that fullness to it, that flavoring. You don't have to add ground beef though, but lots of different vegetables I add. I used to add lima beans. I don't add lima beans to it anymore. But I put a lot of stuff in it. Canned tomatoes, I'd fill up a big stew pot, full of this. And then I would actually freeze the meals. I would freeze it. And this is a meal today. I figured it would be about $28 for the entire meal. Okay. My point to this is that this is a meal that would last me personally when I was single. It would last me for almost 2 weeks. I would have this for lunch every day. I would have those ball mason jars. Now, you do you, okay? But I would freeze those. And then I would let them thaw, the night before. And then as it thawed the next day, it would probably still need a little heating up, in a saucepan or something. But I even when I did stuff on the road, I'd have my little Coleman grill, my little Coleman burner. Right? And I would put it on the burner, warm it up in that, and it was great. I had a full, solid meal, solid lunch every day. And it was a lot cheaper then. I think it was 18. It was 18 and some change for the entire meal. Well, now it's about $28. But really, when you break it down, for a meal for 14, well, maybe not, but 10 days. We'll say 10 days. 10 to 12 days, depending on, I would eat a lot. I would eat like a pretty big mason jar full of it. But when you break that down, it's very cheap. It's very cheap, and you're getting all of your nutrients that you need. You're getting a lot of vegetables, a lot of different things. I would put celery in it, and these are some of the things that Jess doesn't really care for celery. I would put onion in it. I mean, it was just so many different things because I was like, when I was out on the road a lot when I was younger, I would pack these things in. It was a full meal that would give me a lot of energy to do whatever I had to do. So anyway, we're looking for cheap meals. We're looking for cheap meals that you can prepare yourself that can really go the distance and are very cheap. Now, I understand I'm speaking to multiple different audience here. We have a lot of different people some people that love cooking. We have some people that can't cook. We have some people that maybe just don't want to cook, right? Well, that's why we kind of point out everything. I mean, when you look at the big picture of a lot of different things, we can find these deals to where even if you're on a maximum budget, okay, now maximum budget I use loosely because I understand, for if it's $5 a day, then this is something to where you can spread this out where you may have to spend $25, $30 all at once, but you can spread these things out over each day, and that would be lunch for you. And I'll tell you what, it would fill me up pretty much all day. I would not even have to eat a next meal, or maybe I would just eat a snack or something. But we do kind of things like this all the time. I've always believed in go big or go home, right? And it's like when I make a meal, I make massive meals so that we can spread it out over days. Now, over the life of our channel here, me and Jessica have done meals where we basically show what we make, we show what we cook, but we don't really show the process of like, hey, we freeze this, right? Or we put it in the fridge, make it last, like chicken and dumplings. Let's take that for example. Chicken and dumplings in a fridge is going to last for freshness with some of the different sealed containers that we use for that, like little ones, we portion it out. They'll last for about a week, maybe. Okay, but that is a week of a lot of different meals. That's a week of, I can have chicken and dumplings every morning or every early afternoon, however you want to do it. But as we go along here, and I was thinking of those turkeys, and I was like, these turkeys is a cheap meal right now. And if you have a little bit of extra freezer space, and if you love turkey like I do, there's all kinds of different things you can do with turkey. You can make a turkey pot pie. You can make turkey soup, some kind of turkey, let us know some of your guys' different recipes down in the comments of cheap meals, because there are a lot of people that are struggling right now, not just with the situation going on with the government shutdown, which is absolutely ridiculous, but some people are struggling in general anyway, right? So it's like, let's talk about these things. We used to talk about these things a couple years ago when me and Jessica did more cooking on the channel and stuff, but, things have gotten busier, guys. I mean, this is a time of year where, like, normally we're just pointing out all the different holiday sales, holiday baking and stuff. But I wanted to do this video today because I wanted to kind of talk about, the different ways that we can save, okay? Because in an unsure world right now of what's going on, we got to be a little more prepared for tomorrow. We got to be a little prepared, because we don't know what's going to happen. Right? This could be, we always talk about domino effects on the channel and how, like, different things that happen. Well, okay, this price goes up, this price goes up. They all go up, right? I said this months ago. I said this over a year ago. I've said it a couple years ago. It's like when one thing happens, right? When we were seeing the prices of sugar skyrocket, what started happening? All these other prices started going up. For what reason? I don't know. Millions of different reasons. Whether it's different taxes on this, whether it's gas, whether it's tariffs, whether it's this or that or this or that. They don't need much of an excuse to raise those prices, guys. They don't. They can say, oh, look at the coffee. I'm paying $20 now for my canister of coffee. Well, okay, I'm a CEO of a business. It's like, okay, well, we're going to have to raise our prices. And I know some people are going to say, well, wages are going up and different things like that. They almost have to, right? I mean, most people... maybe not most people, but I know a lot of people personally that work 2 jobs, 2, even 3 jobs. And it's not that they don't like it. They like it because they're making more money and that they can provide to do things for their family. Maybe that vacation they want to take or just being able to go out to eat every now and then, not feel like you're, going broke, But guys, we need to pay attention to these things. Real quick, I'm just going to quickly go over this, okay? This is a recall. This is a recall from Kroger, and it does affect a lot of us on the channel here. So I wanted to just go over, and this one may not, But it's one that a couple of you guys had mentioned, and I just wanted to make sure that we touched on this for a minute, because this could affect a lot more products here in the near recent future. So we just want to go over this for a second. This is on the Moonlight Peaches. Moonlight Peaches, okay? And the reason for the recall, Listeria. Okay, now this was over a week ago that they were talking about the peaches. Some of you had mentioned it in the channel, and you know, I've been encouraging everybody to hit the notification on the FDA website or USDA, anywhere where you can get information on products that are being recalled. Because just because we haven't been talking about recalls as much on this channel, because I've been busy with some other things, they're still happening. They're still happening. But you know, when I get to one that is like this, it seems like it's spreading. I feel like we may need to talk about this. Also, if it's something that affects a lot of people on our channel, I want to make sure and get the information out as well. So at the start here, this is an article from USA Today, and this is something that we always talk about. I say whenever there is something that deals with salmonella or listeria or something that has to do with some fruit that could spread to other things or be put in other items, other canned goods, then it's something that we need to pay attention to, right? This was happening with cantaloupe and stuff like a couple years ago. That one was salmonella. This one apparently, for whatever reason, is caused by listeria, but we need to just go over this real quick. So USA Today, salsa sold at Kroger recalled for listeria concerns. And it says see products. We're not going to go over the different products, but I just wanted to read this here from USA Today. Salsa sold at Kroger is being recalled for possible listeria contamination in part of a larger recall of peaches, and that would be the Moonlight Peaches that we went over. JFE Franchising and Supreme LLC, which produces peach sauces sold at Kroger stores, issued recalls on October 30th and November 3rd. After they were notified of possible listeria exposure by fruit supplier Moonlight Companies. This just had a major recall on their peaches, on a lot of different peaches. Okay? Moonlight Companies initiated its own recall on October 29th for California-grown conventional yellow and white peaches that may be contaminated by listeria. The peaches were used to make the sauces produced by both manufacturers and supplied to Kroger locations. So my question is, and you can do your own research on this if you like, what other companies, I can't imagine that this is just Kroger, right? What other companies is this affecting? It's got to be more than this. And this is usually the case. And this is why I'm talking about this right now. Because we got to make sure that whatever products are being put out there, if it's run by this Moonlight Companies, that perhaps, possibly, or however they want to phrase it, somehow found a trace of listeria in product, well, then we need to know all the products. And this is just one of them. This is just talking about Kroger. As of November 3rd, there have been no illnesses or consumer complaints, according to the recall notice by the Food and Drug Administration, or FDA. Fruits, leafy greens, and other produce can become adulterated with listeria through fecal contamination, which can occur through wastewater, water in the growing area, fertilizer, and the proximity of said growing area to livestock, USA Today previously reported. Its presence in soil or water can contaminate produce as it grows, and exposure during harvesting, processing, and preparation can also introduce the bacteria both to the inside and outside of fruits and vegetables. And this is why this is very important. Because however this was, or however it came to be, is a problem for all products that the Moonlight peaches were put into. Okay, now it's so the one that this affects with Kroger is the Snow Fruits brand peach sauces sold in 16-ounce plastic clamshell containers of for $5.99 with sell-by date November 3rd, 2025 through November 4th, 2025, and UPC code 639-123-940-636. And the other one on this list is Supreme Produce brand peach sauces sold in 14-ounce clear plastic grab-and-go containers with best by dates October 12th, 2025 through October 29th, 2025. And the reason why this is even on here is fear that you may have frozen it or it's still in your fridge. And that UPC code is 8500-6540364. And again, this is the article from USA Today, so you could literally Google peach recall USA Today. This will come up. Okay, so this salsa in particular, right, was sold in Kroger stores in Alabama, Arizona, Colorado, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Michigan, Nebraska, Ohio, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Virginia, Washington, West Virginia, and Wyoming. Therefore, being a major problem as it has gone out pretty much all over the place here. Okay? Recalled Supreme Produce brand salsa was sold at Kroger stores in, this is the other one. The one we read before was the Snowfruit, the recalled Snowfruit brand, which is very popular. Recalled Supreme Produce brand salsa was sold at Kroger stores in Illinois, Colorado, Georgia, Washington, Indiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Arkansas, Oregon, and Michigan, spanning more states of this catastrophe. And then there are a lot of different lot codes and numbers that I'm not going to have time to go over. But it just keeps going on and on, guys. And this is why we're mentioning this, because it is just absolutely absurd. Apparently, lab work is terrible these days, right? And this is something that within a product of another product. Now, I know some people will be quick to blame the grocery stores for stuff like this, but this is not the case. This is something where probably millions of peaches were processed, sold to the company that makes another product, and then sold to the grocery stores. So where or who found what is going on? I would be willing to bet that Kroger tested this stuff and found maybe that it was bad. Or they know of the recall from the other Moonlight Peaches, and they're like, they put two and two together. This is Moonlight Peaches. This is a problem. Okay, and then I'll go over, since we never went over these before. These are the peaches that were on recall. Other peach products recalled on October 30th. Moonlight Company's recalled peaches sold between September 16th, 2025 and October 29th, 2025 at retailers nationwide for possible listeria contamination, meaning that these products must have been packaged in between those times, which probably have a very long expiration date. But anyway, so it was Moonlight Yellow Peaches sold individually and in multi-packs with PLU stickers 4401 and 4044, or UPC code 810248 031656 or 898429 002091. And then they were Moonlight White Peaches, also sold individually and in multi-packs. Moonlight White Peaches Peppermint Peach, in quotation marks, sold in multi-packs. And then Kroger Yellow Peaches. That was a big one. Kroger Yellow Peaches in multi-packs with UPC code 11110 and 18174. So that is the extent of the recall of what I wanted to talk about today. But my point is that this is why I always say this could get bigger, because this is what happens when we find a fruit or product that is being sold probably in the tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands. I don't really know. But when we find these products that are in other goods, right, and then there's a massive recall, well, then we're going to find those products eventually on those as well. That's why we got to be cautious when we hear of a major recall, especially when it deals with something with listeria or salmonella or some of these other ones. Guys, it's one thing after the other. I mean, it literally is. We just have to pay attention. We got to pay attention. We got to make sure that we are staying on guard. A lot of people say, keep your head on a swivel. Well, yeah, we really do. We really do. It's absolutely crazy with all the different recalls. I just can't cover them all anymore, guys. And again, I say, you can get on the FDA website and then they will literally send you notifications when there is a new recall. So we need to make sure that I have that on mine. I know, thank you to everyone who's been leaving these in the comments, as most of our longtime viewers and new viewers know that it's just, with everything else that me and Jessica are doing on the channel right now, it's hard to cover everything. But when I hear one that big, one that seems to be spreading pretty wide, we want to make sure that we cover those so that everybody is aware of what's going on. So we're going to continue to find the deals. We're going to continue to shop. We're going to continue to do everything we do on the channel. I know, lately, we get comments from a lot of new viewers. Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you going to this store? Guys, some things I roll the dice on. I don't have, the only one store that I really plan out is Kroger, because it's one that we can all kind of relate to. So I try to get to Kroger as early as I can. But when it comes to like Walmart, Dollar Tree, Aldi, some of these other places, like even Meyer's hard to go to every week. As to where I'm impressed with some of the different holiday deals at Meijer and some other places lately, a lot of the other sales really haven't been all that great. We have been finding a lot of different canned soups and stuff on sale, though, which I know we get a lot of comments for, looking for deals with that. So we continue to hand out the thousands of coupons that you guys have been sending us. Thank you to our viewers who've been sending the coupons through our P.O. box. We have been handing them out to everyone who needs them. And then some. I mean, we get so many sometimes. So many people are so happy to save money on anything these days. I've had a couple of people say, well, you know what? I've never eaten that before, but I'll try it because it's $1 off. That's cool. That's cool. And we get a lot of coupons for coffee and stuff, and it does help. But I do recommend, as I always say on this channel, buy up the sales when you see them, within the means of your budget. Okay? And the reason I say that, because a lot of things, when you find it on sale, it's going to be a better deal than any coupon, right? Mostly because you're getting the deal right then and there. The chances are when you go to Kroger and you're looking for your favorite coffee, or if you're trying to, Folgers, we get a lot of comments on Folgers. I've had a lot of $1 off coupons where I tell people, like, if you drink Folgers and you're stocked up on it, you may want to wait. Hang on to this coupon for when it's on sale, and then you get an extra $1 off that, making it an even sweeter deal. So that's why we shop like this, so that we know, that we're getting the best deals out there possible, and we're saving money. If you can afford to shop this way, and again, I know some people can only afford to shop day to day or week to week. If you can afford to shop month to month, though, that is where you're going to really save, because you can afford to shop the deals, right? If you're shopping the deals, if you're shopping the sales and getting everything that you buy on coupons, and I know we have a lot of people on the channel that just won't do digital coupons. I'm sorry, but I can't. I have to. If I know there's a deal out there that I'm going to save $2 or $3 on a product when I go to the store, and I'm saving multiple, I mean, sometimes I should probably show some of my receipts sometimes. Sometimes what I would have spent $150 on, I'm spending like $75 or $80 with the different deals, on top of things like other deals, like going to Kroger on a Friday and getting the Friday 4 points and building up to where I get $1 off per gallon. Gas just went up again. I don't know what happened. I guess oil went up again. Gas was down to $2.85 for like a week, and now it went up to $3.29, and now everybody seems to have it for $3.21. But still, it's 30-40 cents higher a gallon than what it was just a week ago. And of course, it always happens after I fill up, or if I don't need to fill up, right? I saw it for $2.85 the other day, and I was 3/4 of a tank, and I was thinking to myself, boy, I better just fill up again. I didn't. The next morning I got up and it was $3.29, and just had to fill up today at $3.21. Of course, I had some money off for Kroger. I had like 30 cents off a gallon, so that was nice. But, we got to do all the little things to try and save money. Right? We got to do all the little things that we can. And I understand everybody doesn't have Kroger, but I do know that a lot of Kroger-owned stores still do the fuel points. There are a lot of Kroger-owned stores all around the country that do the different fuel points, and I recommend taking advantage of every little bit you can. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope everybody has had a great weekend. I hated starting everything off with the news of the shutdown still going on. It makes me sick. Not only are people not getting their benefits to help them eat, but, now we got jobs that are going to be at stake for all of this. And for everyone who is working for free right now, our thoughts and prayers are with you. And my thoughts and prayers will continue to make sure that you are able to get your back pay. And if you are struggling, don't be ashamed to go to the food bank, Don't be ashamed to ask your family. Don't be ashamed to ask your friends. You know, these are trying times and a lot of people are hurting for it. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.